Okay, this 1939 project made another major milestone. I'll let JB explain exactly what's going on here. Okay, JB, we're looking at a 38 Lincoln Zephyr here, and we're finally getting around to some soft materials.
Well, the idea is to start putting the internal pieces together. If you can notice, we have the back panels are in place.
Oh yeah.
The back shelf.
There is a shelf back there.
Right, and there's a big storage area, so if you want to carry, you could actually conceivably fit a jump seat back there.
Okay.
Or we got a package tray up there to put your stuff.
Okay.
I mean, it still has to live in the real world.
Right.
So it's got certain things about it. You don't want to be going in the trunk all the time.
Sure.
Even though you could put another car in the trunk. So really you're kind of condensed down. So that means that if you have bags to carry, you don't want them in the front. You want to get them out of the way. And there's a lot of space behind the seat, and then we put a package tray there, exactly like the factory did, so that you could put your incidentals and your clothing and
maybe
whatever.
Your hat.
Yeah, your hat. There you go.
Right.
Yes, sir. Back when we had hats.
All right.
So we've mocked up the door panels.
Okay.
And remember, John said he didn't want to put the door panels on but once because there are pins in it.
Yep.
And the more you take it off and on, it weakens those clips. So John said, get it done, get everything, all the mechanical parts of it done. And we had a real difficult time finding these. This right here.
Oh, okay.
This actually was stolen off of my car.
Okay. You made a donation from your car.
I made a donation, huh? And I have no idea where we're going to get one for mine, but we'll work on that later.
Right.
And so we got all that mocked up, and we got that operating so that we don't have to dig back into the door, because the glass, the winders for the doors, the windows, the cranks for the opening and closing, if you're messing with that stuff, then you're taking the panel off and on, and you're going to damage it, and you're going to cause those pins to weaken. And then they're not going to go back on properly. So that's why he was saying, just get all that done. You'll go through all of that. And the door panels were made some time ago, and now he's put them on.
Right.
Likewise, we've tried to match the colors. A lot of these colors come from different places, so we're trying to match spiritually, I like to say, the colors. Obviously, instead of using vinyl to match the leather, we just use leather. If you get
why not use leather?
To begin with,
yeah, right.
Why would you want to match it? It's only a tiny bit more cost-wise.
Right.
So we just buy everything in leather and be done with it.
Yep.
The exception being the kick panels, the back panels that you notice back here.
Oh, right. Here we go. You see it a little better. Wow, that's
your storage area.
Really
we got
nice.
some carpet on the bottom, which is also a matching color.
Yep.
The vinyl is very close to the leather.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that matches. And what you see in a good design is you don't see anything.
Right.
All the details disappear because they were done properly. If the high here I am problem with a lot of people, they just cannot resist temptation to put some craziness in it and put their own stamp on it.
Yeah.
But that's not the way good design works.
Okay.
You have to keep looking at something over and over and over for years and years, then that stuff wears really thin and you get tired of looking at it.
Sure.
So you got to keep it simple. Let the car be the star. The star is up there in the engine compartment.
Yeah, right.
You don't need any other stars. We got one
little
star.
beak is still there. Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it is.
Still there, waiting to get fired up.
Yes, it is. Waiting for the Robert E. Lee.
Right.
Now the wheels are back on the ground, so we've got a lot of the mechanical parts of it worked out.
Excellent.
And now we're getting the interior fleshed out. And
hey, can we have a look at the trunk? You mentioned the trunk earlier.
The trunk is likewise pretty much done. The only we want to keep this again back to the same theme.
Yep.
If a trunk is going to be used for a trunk, it's going to get dirty things in it. So what color should it be? Let me think. Dirt. So really, we got this rugged carpet here that's really good material as far as cleanability and resisting stains and oil and whatnot.
Sure.
And that's a really important part of it. And then we built this internal structure which didn't exist in the factory car.
Okay.
And of course, we got to build framing, we got to build places to put all those panels.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's supposed to look like the factory did it, because the factory was very, very talented. They had a lot of really smart people working there.
Right.
So if you notice, it's very simple and straightforward. And we need to leave room for the rest of your stuff.
Right.
It's going to go in here, because we're going to have a tire that's going to take up this entire area right here.
Yes.
So that is another area for large objects, one of which, of course, is a charger starter.
Right, right.
Which goes with all of our cars.
Yeah, you want that.
In fact, we're going to have a toolkit just for this car. And it turns out, and as Irene would have it, I have one of these. And this year, and I was working on the spider caps for my car and realized I could not get them off. Literally could not get them off. They snap in over these right here. And it goes inboard, and there is no way to get that cap off.
Wow, right.
I mean, you could use a hammer and a sickle or something.
On there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have to build a little tool that goes in and causes the tool to pry the cap out to get it started.
Without doing any damage,
with the toolkit for the car. Otherwise, you can't fix the tire if you can't get the hubcap off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then, of course, you have an additional challenge, because you can have
the fender
skirt.
Right. Yeah, right.
So they've done everything in the world to make you crazy. Now, that's the bad news. Good news is we got really good tires on this car. I've had this particular brand forever, and they've really served us well. They age well. They ride nice. They're radial. They have the big white wall, and they're made in a country that we recognize. Okay.
Right on. Well, yeah, those are. I can't imagine what that's going to look like when the blue is off and they're all
going to be unreal. Yeah. We have a special surprise coming in that area, which we're not going to tell anybody about.
Okay.
Especially the guy who's paying the bill. So we have some nice things being done for his. And we've also talked about a custom plate for his car, which we're working on. We want it to be on the bumper where God intended it. We're not going to put it on the deck lid where the government intended it. Right. That's just wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. We're not going to do that. Yeah. So get it down out of the way like we did in the other car. And you can look back at the 39 we did, and it's done that same way.
Sure.
We just get it out of the way. So we're really moving along on this thing. We've got a snag on the seat. Seat has got to go back and forward. We got the height of the owner of the car and his son, so that we can stage the car seats so that he can use it comfortably. Remember, we have the option of moving it and angling it. People were around when this car was built were half a foot shorter. Okay, right. So they could be right up on the dash. Not so much for a 6-footer.
Yeah. Well, you know, you want to be able to enjoy the car, so the seat has to
you don't want to be, like this.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to have to stage the seat. I happen to be the same height as the owner, so I can test it and I can see if it's comfortable with a little bit of movement. Back and forth. So that's
great. That's
and remember, this seat was made only for this car. This is the only one on the planet made for this car. And I'll tell you sometime about the componentry, but it looks just like a Zephyr seat, but effectively the Continental guys, spoiler alert, will see that there are some Lincoln Continental parts on it. Okay?
Interesting.
We thought that was fun. If you notice, if you look at this, a typical Zephyr seat goes flat along here. This has got a whoopee in and then up, and that's characteristic of the 40 Continental.
Right on.
So that's why we used it, and it really, I think, is really beautiful. It adds a nice custom touch.
Right.
So we're trying to hit a balance between custom items and not overwhelm you with the idea that this car isn't stock.
Right.
A lot of people are going to walk up to this car and say, well, it's dead stock.
Sure.
But it's not.
Right.
Okay. Now that's the secret. How do you do that without tipping people off? And when they discover that you've got all these custom items, the 9-inch rear end, the 3.2s, the automatic, they actually have to be drawn in and explain to them that that is in fact there, and because this is really, without a doubt, the best of this make ever. Okay, I'm not gonna. Anybody wants to argue with me, please give me my phone number. It's way better than my own personal car. It has a lot more going for it, and it's because we've learned a lot more in the intervening time when
Sure.
we've done several of these cars,
Right.
and we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
So we're going to integrate that into this car.
The new top ever.
Yes, exactly. And I
That's
don't think
excellent.
we'll ever come near this car, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
There are so few 38 coupes
Yeah.
on the planet. The price of admission now is just over the moon, just to
Right.
get a stalker.
Yeah.
So we're really tickled this car is a 38, and it's going to be done the way it's going to be done.
You know, even in its unfinished, but it's getting close. It's very impressive already. And
Yeah,
we're
it
not
really
quite
is.
there.
If you know what you're looking at,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful. We have people come in here and they don't breathe for a couple minutes. They don't even know what it is.
That's right.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, thanks for keeping
You bet.
us up to date here.
You bet.